One of the important things that we read a lot about today is the leader has a significant role in developing the culture of the organization. And I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on how a leader should impact the culture.
Again, it goes back to the garden and what you're tending. So what does that culture need to provide for that agency to thrive? What culture needs to be inside the agency for it to thrive? And you have to ask for it to thrive for what service it provides, in our case, public service, what service it provides to the general public. So if I take BART as an example, having a leadership and a front line that looks and acts like the community and thinks like the community is incredibly important. To do that, you can't have an insular management strategy, and you can't have an insular worker strategy. People need to be listening to what the customer wants. And it changed. It changed over those 8 years. I was the general manager at BART. And so I encourage people to listen to others and to be, I'll call it empathetic, but to think about the other person sitting at the table and what their life is like, trying to introduce ideas in the management team, say, as an example, and trying to get change brought about to reach the goals that we presumably all agree to. So,
did you find yourself doing anything in particular to facilitate or to maintain that culture?
A couple of things you do is I meet with staff on a regular basis, and I promoted and elevated a very diverse staff. Another thing is get out on the platform. I was out on the platform every week, just listening to the customers, and my employees would see me out there. I think now Bob Powers has everybody out. I didn't mandate that the managers went out themselves, but I think Bob has everyone out for a certain number of hours with the customers. It can get quite insular, on the 23rd floor at the time of BART. So by going out there, I'm asking them, how's the service? What's changed? And that's why I could tell early on that the homeless issue was a problem, because you would see trains pull in, say a 6-car train, and 5 of them were packed and 1 was empty. And it's because someone was there who really smelled bad. And, no one wanted to sit in that car. So the service was perceived as being, overcrowded, if you will, because they were so smashed in together. When in fact, it was the beginning of the homeless problem and people not having good housing, not having a place to stay. And as we took that idea and discussed it, the solution to that, we're still not there at all, I know, but the solution to that was in figuring out who our partners were in the Bay Area that serve that population and how we could connect those people to the service.
Your discussion of culture is including more people at the table, listening to more points of view, opening up the organization so it isn't insular. And those are the things that you did personally then, were to go out, to meet with different people, to meet with staff regularly.
Lead by example. And then I have a philosophy that is not just confined to individuals, but it starts with individuals, and that's networking. I truly believe that we're all part of a fabric of this, world, at least of a community. And we have a responsibility to people on the other end. When I said meet them before you need them, if you're going to have to call the fire department in to do something unique, it's better if you've met the fire chief first and you've had some relationship there, or you have to go to a county and ask them to behave differently than they've behaved before in order to get some project through or a change in policy or something. So if you've gone out and at least met them, they know, and they can pick up the phone and call and say, Grace, we got a problem over here. And I know who's on the other end of the phone. So when you move from job to job, as some of your, viewing audience will do, hopefully they move up in life, they'll go to an organization they haven't been a part of. Part of your job when you first get there, besides the assessment I talked about, is to figure out who's in that community. Meet someone on the mayor's staff. Meet the mayor if you can. So that people know who you are. That meet them before you need them is the beginning of a network. The other thing, though, is think about BART as we have other transit agencies in the Bay Area, working strongly with them rather than being insular, which we were when I first got here. So we kind of put together a collaboration with the other transit providers, AC Transit, VTA, and we started meeting regularly with the general managers of those agencies, which they hadn't done before.